Landscaping. When I sit back and look at a house, I often look at how it's landscaped. Now here in the desert, they landscape things differently than they do in the Midwest, okay? In the Midwest, we have different types of plants that tolerate things a little bit better or worse than they would out here, okay? Cactus is very prominent out here. Rock is very prominent out here as opposed to grass. I still am not getting used to that as a front yard with rock or a backyard with dirt. That is just, different than what I've grown up with in the Midwest, but nevertheless, that's the style. So make sure that you're doing something appropriate to the area. Out here, if you're putting grass in, to keep that grass green, you're going to be using a lot of water. So if you're going to be using a lot of water, maybe you go to a system where you're catching the rainwater and using it to irrigate the grass on hand, okay? It rains. You get monsoons in the summertime. Oh, big time. Huge rains here. Yeah. Now, over the whole year, you don't have as much precipitation. But during monsoon season, it'll come down like cats and dogs. Anybody been here in a monsoon? Have you guys been here? It's something. And they also have dust storms. I don't know if you've been in a dust storm, but it looks like a huge, what's that? You missed that? Okay. It looks like a huge cloud coming your way that typically looks like rain from someone from the Midwest. Oh, it's going to rain. That's not rain. That's dust. What? Your first look at it, it's pretty intimidating. But yeah, they do get rain here, and they get a lot of it at once. Now, over the year, they don't get a lot, but they do have monsoons here. So yeah, I look at landscaping on something like that, and I don't think I put an after picture there, but this stuff here gets landscaped pretty well. I'm not a big fan of mature trees that close to the house. Now, this is a pine. You don't have too much of an issue with that, but if you got a tree like an oak tree or a willow, not a willow, but a willow, you're going to have some problems with the root system there. Okay, so make sure you're cognizant of that. Always look at to see if there's any roots that might be affecting the integrity of the foundation or the house itself. Okay, but I would look at this house and I would say, this would do a lot from the car or from the street level if we can kind of put a landscaping area in there, put somewhat of a plant design here, low-level plants here by the window, maybe something on here to define both ends and maybe the middle here, okay? And then in front here you would have what we call ground cover in the Midwest, okay? Or maybe they call it like that all over, I don't know. But landscaping goes a long way. Necessary evils, plumbing, and electrical. And you saw in the rehab that Charles is doing that he tackled both of those. You did a lot of that work yourself, correct? All of that work yourself. And those are big ticket items. You got to make sure that you're adhering to code, and you're probably, how much time did you spend crawling on your belly under the house? Several days. So it's not very glamorous work, and maybe that's where Charles kind of cut his teeth on some of that knowledge, but there's probably things under that house that could kill you, right? Did you see any of those? Yeah. In my mind, as I'd be crawling under that house, I know I'd run into a little boy under 5 with a 3-piece suit and a monkey in human clothing. I know I'd see that. I'm not worried about the scorpions and snakes and that stuff. To bathe or not to bathe? That's actually bath, but I just am reading a certain way. That is the question. Well, bathroom keys. Do you put in, because a lot of times you just have a tub in there with no shower. Is that what you had, by the way, when you walked into those? Okay. Sometimes you'll walk into these houses and you'll see just a bathtub there. And if it's appropriate, sometimes you want to take that bathtub out of there and put a shower there. Other times, there might be room to put a stand-up shower and a tub, or you're going to have to do a combo unit, shower tub kind of deal. So use what is appropriate there. I would think you definitely want a shower in a house. Okay? You want a shower in a house. Back in the day, they didn't take showers, they took baths. Okay? So make sure that you're answering that question. If there's just a bath there, you definitely want to have add a shower there, either as a separate stand-up shower or something. But there's a lot of things you can do now with refinishing tubs to make it look good. You might want to take that out. If it's a higher end home, middle to high end, a clawfoot tub, they're worth quite a bit of money. Okay, so you might be able to get one at a renovation place or a restoration place and make it appropriate for a master bath, so to speak. Sometimes it's more design than functionality with those, but you may want to look into that. Resurface them, yeah. Yeah, because it's the wood and support underneath the tub. Yeah. Oh, geez. Yeah. So that can be challenging. Also, vanities. Think about bathrooms today where you have families getting ready for school and possibly work. Is there room to put a double vanity in or double sink in? That's going to be of more value than a single sink. If you've got if there's only one bathroom, like 3-bedroom, 1 bath, and there's no room to put a half bath in like there was in Charles's unit, maybe you can find room to put a double vanity or double sink in there. I think it would go a long way and add a little bit more value to that. Again, you can do some wonderful things with tile to make the shower bathtub area look a little bit more thrilling, if you will. This is the area that you're going to be caulking. If this was a wall that was painted or elsewhere, you could have that caulk painted to match that, or by the windows there. When you're looking at a house to rehab, put together a punch list. And this could be done by you, it could be done by your contractor, it could be done by your staging person when it's complete. I'm a big list person. So you might have a punch list at the beginning when you start the project. You also might have a punch list at the end when things are nearly completed. So these are minor things that need to be done. Along with that punch list, what I would do is I typically go through with blue painter's tape. And if there's nicks on the wall, I'll put a piece of tape there. If the sink needs to be fixed, it's leaking, I'll put a piece of tape there. If maybe a light switch doesn't work, I'll put a piece of tape there. And that way it reminds me of what to go to fix in that unit for the final punch list, okay? Make sense? Questions with that? Okay. Now, people ask me all the time with houses that they're going to flip about staging. Yes? That's a great idea. Someone other than the contractor. Matter of fact, someone other than a person that's been in that house or worked in there for a while. Bring in a perfect stranger or a third party. What's that? Or an inspector, especially if you're going to have, you know, an occupancy permit situation, you're going to have one come in anyway, okay? Staging, I get that question a lot. Should I stage a house that I'm flipping? Statistics show that a house professionally staged sells faster. Now, that's going to be an investment. So again, you've got to figure that in your income and expenses, your financials, on whether staging is going to be appropriate for you. Will it work out? But I believe in most cases, when you stage a home, it's going to sell faster, okay, than a home that was just done but not staged. So I'm a fan of it. What to do? I don't think you need to add everything as if somebody was living in there, but I think it's nice to put furniture in the master, one of the bedrooms, the living room, and have some towels up in the kitchen, in the bathroom. You don't need to put pots and pans in the cabinets or anything like that, but make it look from the surface like someone's living there, and make sure the staging is appropriate for the house. In other words, don't put furniture that wouldn't be appropriate to the style of house that you're working on. Does that make sense to everybody? I'm a big fan of that. It should cost. What you should pay for that. There's a fee. There's companies that will stage it for you and you quote unquote rent the furniture. My sister does a lot of flips and she gets furniture from really from all over. They do foreclosures and people just walk away from their furniture, but she's got a whole storage, almost warehouse of furniture that she uses when she does flips on houses. She stages them with them, but there's companies that will stage your house for you. That should typically cost, let's just say on a $150,000 house, you should probably pay no more than $3,500 to stage that house. Maybe even less, but I'm just kind of giving you conservative numbers there. Okay? Yeah?
Just a comment. We've done some rehabs and staged the houses. And then there's a couple times we sold the staging with the houses.
Yeah. And when you bring up a great point. Sometimes the people that are walking through the house will want to buy the house with that staging furniture in there. And typically those staging companies will sell that furniture. Okay?
What is your cutout for staging? You're not going to go low-end housing, right?
Yeah, that's why I was saying, a house I would say in mid-range, 150 and over. Now, in Canada, I know your real estate is more expensive, but here in the States, a $150,000 house in most markets is a pretty decent house. So mid-range and higher. Yes, I wouldn't stage a low-end home, very minimally, okay? We have some exceptions to that in larger apartment complexes. Sometimes we'll stage one of the units as a model, but on a low-end house, I don't think it's necessary, okay?